Alright, 2004 Chevy Malibu. This has the smaller engine, the 2.4, and this is the 4T40E. I got a call on this a couple days ago from a wholesale account, and he said that, he goes, hey, I got this 04 Chevy Malibu, no forward, has reverse, so I'm thinking 4T65E. And then he says it's the 2.4 engine. So I says, oh. I just double checked myself through Shopkey, and it is the 4T40. So we're going to open this up and see what we find. I don't think I ever had one of these that actually did not move forward. But pretty much we're going to be looking for an issue, I guess, with the forward clutch. I believe that comes on, and the spray is holding. I don't think anything else is on in that. I was looking up the application. But we're going to open this up and see what we find. Just a couple of things on the outside real quick. You got a black plastic cap right here. All right, this is your fill. I can actually take this off. This is your where everything gets filled, and the check. And of course, you got to have the engine running. This takes 2 fills. So the check, there's a little, looks like a pressure tap right here. So what we do is fill it up until it runs out, and then you start it, and then you fill it again until it runs out. So that would be right here by the, I guess by the axle, by like the right side axle. Okay, here is your connector. Here, your lines go here, and this is your line pressure tap fitting here. I guess that's about it. Output speed sensor, still in the case here. I'm going to take that out. I guess that's about it. So I'll get a little closer, and I'm going to start tearing this down, see what we find. This kind of resembles, it's a 4T40. It kind of is almost like a baby 4T80. But we're going to open it up, see what we find. The reason why it had no forward gears, had nothing, any range, but it did have reverse because I was able to back it up into the shop. All right, so I'll get a little closer and we'll tear this down. All right, so let's start by taking this cover down here. And what I think I'm going to do, just going to get I got a rag here for some bolts because I got a 4060E on the other bench I'm working on. I think I looked up and I did had not too many of these in the last couple of years. Don't really get too many of these, that's for sure. Okay. Let's see how easy this is going to come off. This is on a couple of dowels. All right, here is the pan. And we have a washer right there. You have your seal and an O-ring. And of course, this is not a gasket, it's more like a rubber seal that fits into the groove of the pan here. Alright, so put that aside. Alright, the next thing we're going to take out is our pump. I'm going to take the pump out here, it'll come out as one. And it's definitely been a while for one of these. Okay, all right, here's the pump, and usually it stays, you know, pretty much just stays together like this. You'd have to knock some pins out that hold this pump together, and there is the bearing that is now available. So I'm going to be taking this pump apart. It's a vane pump, but I'm going to be taking this apart to change the bearing. If the bearing does go bad, or the seal goes bad, I should say, then that would cause converter codes like a 742 code. So I always change that on the overhaul. All right, let me just turn my light back on here. Alright, so now let's unplug these solenoids. Now I just don't know if this happened all of a sudden or what, but okay. Alright, so this is the one part of the harness. The other one lead comes down, goes to an input speed sensor. Which we'll see once we get the channel plate off. Alright, so next we're going to take the valve body down. Alright, and then what I'll do first here, we got a little support bracket. Okay, a little support bracket here. Valve body. And these bolts are all different sizes. The really long ones, really short ones, but shouldn't be that bad to figure out where they go. Okay. All right, so now we're going to take our fluid pressure switch out. If I remember correctly, I believe there's two. I think there's a late and an early on this fluid switch here. Yeah, you see, there's only three, and I think on the early ones, I think there's 4. So if you were to put the early switch or maybe like a late transmission to an early car, I think it would produce a code. I think it would produce actually an 1810 code, if I'm not mistaken. But I actually try to brush up on this trans last night because I haven't done one in a while. Alright, so the valve body. I'm going to take the valve body down. Okay. I'll put this in the corner here. Separate a plate and gaskets. Okay, we're going to take the pump shaft out. Alright, now we're just going to unhook the manual valve. You know what, this is what we'll do. Got some check balls in the channel plate as well. Okay, unhook the manual valve. Alright, so check balls. Let me get my magnet. Okay. Okay, next we're going to take the channel plate down. All the bolts here around the outside. And also behind this channel plate we're going to find accumulators. They are plastic. I have seen them crack. Alright, so I want to be careful now with the springs. Alright, so a little closer. Let me get rid of some of this oil here. Oil's not too big, it doesn't smell burnt. And again, I just don't know if this was all the sunning. Okay. Okay, so we have the three accumulators, pretty much like the 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So we'll take a look at those. But for now, let's just put this aside here. Okay. All right, just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay. Alright, so anyway, here is the O-ring for the lockup. I forgot to take that off before. And this is where the axle seal rides. Alright, this was on here. And sometimes there's a little bit of a pain to get off. So I had to just bang it a little to loosen it. And it came right off, so now I can get the rest of the unit apart. And these do come in the overhaul kits. Just measure how far it's in. This way the seal, you know, for sure will land on the mating surface there. Okay, so now I'm going to take the chain. Chain feels good, chain and sprockets. Okay. And you're going to washer on each side here, and of course your rings, which come in the kits. I always change those. Let's take these washers out. We don't lose those. Okay. The driven gear, another washer here. Okay, so here is the input speed sensor. Let's take this gasket off. And we'll take this input speed sensor out here. Okay. There's that. We'll get that out later, the harness. All right, now we're going to pull these out here, center support. All right, this is your intermediate clutch piston. Pretty much molded pistons. All right, now we're going to get the intermediate clutch out. All right, looks pretty good. Too bad there. Okay, here is your reverse input. Here you got the intermediate spray on top. Alright, now we're going to get the band. That's fourth. Okay, now within this setup here, we have the direct and the coast clutch, so we're going to open this up later. Let's just get this thing apart because I'm really curious to know what is causing no forward. So I'm going to be taking the forward drum out now. Okay. Is it a band? No, it is not. This is low reverse band here. But this, I don't even believe is on in first gear. This is reverse and low. All right, so what we're gonna have to do is take this thing take it apart the rest of the way, and I want to air check this drum here. Everything is good. All right, we have a bearing that goes here. So let's just open this real quick. Take a look at the clutches. Here's a bearing. Okay, bearing's gonna sit like that. Let me just bring it down a little bit, make sure everybody can see. These things look pretty good. I'm gonna be missing something here. All right, but what I want to do is take this apart to air check this drum. Alright, so let me just pull this center support out here. There's something broke here. This out so I don't break that. Alright, that's going to be a 10. What do I do with my 10? Let me just get another one. Okay. Not gonna go my way. All right. All right, let's put this hand down. Drain it. Really can't drain this, since there's really like not a filler tube or anything. And pan is clean. Somebody may have done a service because this technically is not the right gasket. Filter. This here, I call this the, let's see if this will come out. Yeah, I'm going to work on that later. Okay, all right, I'm going to take these tubes out. And I wanted to look at those tubes real close. You know, these tubes do have a tendency to crack. Around like at where they're together, like, you know, in these areas here. But let's take these off. Okay, you got some O-rings here. All right, so, you know, there is a way you can test these tubes. I showed you where the pressure tap was. All right, and pretty much what you can do is put the put the transmission in reverse and blow through the pressure tap hole with air and see if you got any leakage around, you know, like the tube tend to crack in these areas here. All right, so let's pull the servos out. And this one here. guess if I don't see too much with this thing, I'm gonna contact the repair shop. They get in touch with the customer to find out what exactly happened. Okay. This is like the fluid level control, maybe like a third rail element or something. Okay, all right. Now we got to see if we can get that snap ring out and get that center support out. Okay. All right, that's not really gonna get it. This one is a fairly thick snap ring. Let me try this here. Thing up here and all right, just give me 1 second here. Okay, I just don't want all the noise that came and emptied the dumpster there. Okay, so we're going to continue trying to get this snap ring out here. Sprig. Let me get the sprig out of here because they knocked some rollers out of that, which I can put back together. Something else. It's not cooperating. pull it. All right, the opening faces, faces like the pan. Okay. All right, so these tabs face up, and the opening again like faces the pan. What a pain. Okay. Okay. There's that. Okay, a bearing. Should be probably a washer too, but it may not be actually, now that I think about it. May not be. And the ring gear. Okay, here's the ring gear. Alright, so the case is stripped. Alright, let me just get set up here. What I want to do is air check this forward drum, see what's going on with it. See if the problem is there. If not, we got to look elsewhere. Alright, so I just want to get rid of some of this oil. Just give me a few minutes, I'll be right back. Alright, so I put the spray back together. Alright, that seems like it's working. Now I'm going to air check this forward drum. And that seems like it's air checking okay. Seems like it's holding the pressure. I'm using very, very little air. And this thing didn't even have a hint of forward. Okay. All right, so let's put this aside here. Let's check just real quick. Let's check the accumulators. I mean, even these look good. I think the earliest I'll don't have the springs on the bottom. This one is not going to have the spring, it's just the other two. Okay. Alright. Well, that looks good. Now let's open this up. This we got the we have the forward, not the forward, the direct and coast. All right, let's move this out of the way. All right, and you have a bearing and a washer that go together. Okay, here for the, I guess it's like the input drum. All right, so now we got to get the snap ring out. sun gear. Planet. Alright, here's the shell. Looks good. Now we're going to have the hub. For the direct here is on the outside. Let's see if we can get this snap ring out. Let me just put my hands here. And on the inside is the coast. So there's two sets of clutches here. This is how this was, where you got the top plate, clutch steel, clutch, then 3 steels. That's how it's set up. I don't think this was ever worked on before, but that's how we'll put it back. Okay, and in here, okay, we got a spray here. Turns one way, locks the other, and the coast clutch is here. All right, and another bearing, which sits here. Alright, these little guys, everything looks okay here, but I must be missing something because this thing 100% did not move. But reverse, no problem. Reverse actually was good. All right, you know, I did want to mention also about these tubes that I forgot. Like I had said, these things do crack. I'm going to actually check these, but I don't think it's going to give a no movement condition. If anything, it would make it slip more than anything. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We got it. There it is. Busted right off. And this is for the forward clutch because this bolts right down here. This one bolts to here. Here we go. Okay. But anyway, getting back to the tubes, as I was talking about that, this is actually the first time I've seen one break. This is actually the first time I've seen one break here. But you can have, usually it's slipping in forward, slipping in reverse. You know, because you have the forward feed tubes, the reverse feed tubes, you can have lube issues, and you can even have a PO 730 gear ratio error. You know, from these, but this is actually the first time I've actually seen one broken here. So, okay, good. All right, so that's the problem. Transmission is in pretty good shape, but you know, we're going to put a kit in it because the clutches, the pistons are molded. So we're going to do that. I'm going to take this pump apart and I'm going to change this seal. I guess that's about it. I guess that's about it for this 1440. So we had no forward movement. And we found here's the intermediate frictions. All the clutches and bands look good. And we found the tube broken. That's actually the first time that I've seen that. I haven't done that many of these, but still, I've never seen the tube broken or cracked or anything, so that is the first time. So probably, I don't know, this thing may have been slipping as it was cracking, and then all of a sudden it just stopped moving, but yeah, that's it, that's the problem. So, alrighty, 1440E trans out of Malibu. This has the 2.4 liter motor. Again, I thought actually when he mentioned no forward, I was definitely had in my mind 1465E, you know, that 1-2 band brakes and won't have forward but reverse. But alright, so we found the problem. And next thing is I just got to get my stuff on order and get this thing back together. This actually is a first job from a new wholesale account that was referred here. Alright guys, I thank you guys for watching. Oh, also this input speed sensor here is going to be changed as part of the overhaul. As far as, you know, I did find the problem, but still, I think there's some miles on this thing, so, you know, we're going to put a set of electronics in this, especially with the, you know, the lockup solenoid, the EPC solenoid, because they are pulsed and they do wear out. But just a basic overhaul, you know, kit. Some clutches I will change, definitely that bearing, some electronics, and I'll tell you, I'm going to put a converter in it, and that's about it. And the tubes. Got to put the tubes in. Alright guys, once again, I thank you for watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you next one.